Okay, here I am again. Roger and I, it's Richard Meller from Facts for Working People. Roger and I, Roger Martinez, my buddy you always see on Facebook, those that you on Facebook, put up a couple of videos where we reminisced about our union work and how important it was in our lives and everything else. And I was thinking about consciousness, like class consciousness. I mean, I remember we had two locals. People at work, you'll remember this. There were two locals, locals belonging to the same national. In America, we call it international because we had members in Puerto Rico, and we had two of the locals in my water utility, water board as you call it abroad. They were part of the same national union, international union, AFSCME, the American Federation of State, County, and Municipal Employees. So we were always trying to unite them. The white collar began as an association, and it was led predominantly by the higher paid professionals, the more backward class consciousness, engineers and so forth. But it also had in it women clerks, the male department, and sort of the lower level unskilled or semi-skilled workers who had more class consciousness. But it did start as an association. And mine, however, they had to walk off the job in the 60s. They took their life into their hands and formed the union. From what I understand, they marched downtown or walked off the job and so forth. And they built a blue-collar union. Mine was more of a blue-collar union. We always tried to unify the two. And I remember during negotiations, we were always arguing for joint meetings of the membership. Folks at work will remember this. We viciously and ferociously fought for 12 meetings of the membership. Every contract negotiations, the leadership of the white-collar union, who were always dishonest to their members, would say, well, yes, we have a coalition. And their management eventually unionized. I'm not in agreement with that anymore, but they unionized. It was better than them not being unionized in a way. But they unionized. And the white collar union always resisted joint membership meetings. We always used to say, let's have joint membership meetings, and they would always blame their members. They're spineless, they're backward, they're cowards. There are all sorts of things they'd say privately to us. And then one of the reasons they always opposed it was they claimed that we were there were three elements that opposed the uniting of the two locals. There was the bosses, the employer. There was the leadership of the white-collar union, who were not, it was a smaller union, were not convinced that they could become a leadership of a united union. And the district council, which was that intermediate layer between our locals and our international union, they were the middle layer. You belonged and paid dues to that council. I think we paid about $170,000 a year. They didn't want it either because they had meetings every quarter, I think it was. Our union had delegates, 2019, the white-collar union had delegates, and they could never be sure it would be delegates of a united local would be like 444, my local, a more militant local, or more compliant local, 2019 at the time. And so we were always trying to, they'd say, we have a Labour committee, we had a Labour jointness, and it was the agreement between the leaderships of the three locals. Even I think 39 at one time was involved, but it was always the leadership. They never had the membership meetings. And there was this one woman, and she was in the white collar union, and she savage, she hated me. I could walk in a room, she hated me. She was so hostile, it was unbelievable. And that hostility began when we were having barbecues to try and unite the locals. And myself and Rog and Marvin, Cheryl, Zer, we always used to say barbecues are good, but what will strengthen us is politics, is demands, is what we can fight for. This is what unites people, not whether or not we eat ribs or whether we eat chicken. And we were in a minority in a lot of ways in making that happen, although we did get joint membership meetings. And I remember we had a joint barbecue. We were there, it was in a union hall. And this woman in particular that hated me, I knew where she was going to end up. Workers are not stupid, we know where they're going to end up. She asked me, she said, I ride to work with my supervisor. I'm a steward in my unit, a white collar union this was. What do you think about that? And I said, well, it's not really a good idea. I said, if nothing's happening, nothing may well be happening, but your members that you represent as a shop steward, it's not good for you to ride to work with a boss. They will not like that. They will feel uncomfortable about that. Most of the best ones will. That was the source of the hostility. She never, not only did she not talk to me, she was vicious, threatening to accuse me of sexual harassment when I called her up, all sorts of nasty crap. She eventually got where she wanted to be as a supervisor. But all of these sort of tactics, all of these struggles that went on in the union, and in the struggle to unite the unions in my workplace, and the struggles in the workplace, these are all such important struggles. The lessons. In 1982, when I was in negotiations, I remember, I signed a contract I didn't agree with. I signed it because I was told, well, the leadership of the union, the international, the leadership of the director of the council, the leadership of the other union, and my own leadership at the time. Well, we can't get any better. We've got to agree with this because it's the lesser of two evils. It's like the team concept in politics with the Democrats. And so I went along with it. Things changed after that. But I want to share a few of these experiences. Like in 96 or 97 it was, we opposed, myself, Roger Martinez, Cheryl Zur, were on the negotiating team for my local. We went through the same stuff where the white-collar union would say, well, don't sign a contract until they would oppose joint membership meetings, but don't sign a contract until we agree, and then we can, you don't leave us out. And we said, sure, no problem. The problem is they would always ask of me or the individual negotiator, can you guarantee your you don't sign a contract? I say, no. There's 800, 900, 850 members in my union. I can't tell you they won't sign a contract. I can tell you I will say we shouldn't sign a contract. But this is the view of it. You're the leader, therefore you should have them under control. I didn't have that sort of control. And I didn't want that sort of control, and nor did my friends and my comrades in the union want that sort of control. And so this was the struggle that went on in the workplace. I want to mention a few things about that. This is going to be short. I just mentioned that one. If you're a union rep on a shop floor in a workplace, and you're going out to drink with a boss and to do stuff with a boss, not good. It's not a personal question. I do it now. I hang out with two of my supervisors. One of them in particular is more to the left of most of my co-workers. He's a decent guy. He's very pro-union. And in the public sector, that's the case. It's not as vicious. It's becoming that way, but it's not as vicious. But when you're on the job, we had a supervisor in my yard. He used to invite us up to his ranch. He was a nice guy. We'd love to have gone. Can't do that. Workers will see that. You've got to recognize that there may be some political misgivings and some illusions they have in capitalism, in the government, in the Democratic and Republican parties, which are against our interest, but they're not. They have class consciousness in that regard. Anyway, this is a little more serious than yesterday's with me and Raj, but I hope you enjoyed that one. But anyway, just a few thoughts, I want to try and... Sean, my old buddy, used to say you should write a book. Well, I write lots of stuff, but writing a book is a different ballgame. Mind you, he never graduated from high school and wrote a book, so... All right. Union is good. It's important. Even a bad union is better than no union, but you got to fight to make it a fighting union. It's inevitable you're going to come into conflict with the Labour officialdom, the present Labour officialdom today, if you want to change the course that our unions are headed in, because the present leadership brought us there. Yet they're not going to let you take the control of those organisations without a political struggle. It's a utopian to think otherwise. Anyway, that's it. It's a lovely day here. I just watched my little dog almost kill a bird. What can I say? You can't get mad at it. Anyway, lovely day. I'll talk to you later. Bye.